Hey guys, Zom Fox here, and today we have some colossal news coming out about the USFL, as the CBA that we've been waiting for has finally come out with a huge deal. This is from yahoosports.com. This is USFL Fox Sports reach new CBA rivaling XFL compensation. This is by Eric Jackson. So without further ado, the rebooted football league, gets ready for its second season as players secure a major win before Christmas, as the USFL player reps and parent company of Fox Sports have agreed to a new 3-year collective bargaining agreement. The proposed agreement comes 6 months after players voted to unionize. It increases the minimum salaries, provides stronger benefit packages than previously had during last year, and the new compensation package is noteworthy as it is a slight increase in what most active players are going to be receiving in the XFL, another rebooted spring football league set to launch February. As the actual details, which still need to be ratified, but what it does is it lifts the salaries from $4,500 per week to $5,350 per week for active USL players. That is $350 more per week than the XFL's $5,000. This is all before incentives and postseason bonuses. USFL players are giving up weekly performance bonuses in the deal, however, for a greater return per week package that includes $150 a week towards 401k contributions, according to a person with familiar with negotiations. So it's more like $5,500 essentially. The proposed CBA, which includes an annual opt-out option, provides inactive USFL players with $2,500 a week, which is $1,000 more than the XFL's $1,500 for inactive players on game day rosters. The new deal addresses one of the biggest issues for USL players, the housing. Like I mentioned a few videos back, one major reason wasn't the technical pay, it was the fact you had to pay for your housing. Now, that is different. The players currently have to pay for their own housing and hotel expenses once training camp ends. The new deal, however, provides them with $400 per week housing stipend. USFL player reps who partnered with the United Steelworkers last June are hoping the new agreement will provide a strong foundation for the 8-team league and its roughly 350 players. As now, it operates in a hub model. All games are in Birmingham, yada, yada, yada. And then the end is, while the USFL is offering stronger pay in its second season, the XFL is still slated to serve as a feeder program for the NFL, as the XFL's inaugural rebooted season ends earlier than the USFL season, which better positions them to make an NFL roster when training camp comes around. As it is owned by The Rock and Danny Garcia and Redbird Capital, yada yada, partner with the NFL, blah blah blah. ESPN will air XFL games, while Fox will broadcast the USFL. It remains to be seen if both leagues can coexist. Both are bullish that they can provide a unique product and sustainable long term. To put it simply, what this means in terms of the USFL versus XFL is the fact that, at least from what I understand, due to the bonus cut, if you're on a good XFL team, you will make more than a player on a bad USFL team, but a player on a bad USFL team will make more money than a bad XFL team player. And if you're on a good USFL team, I'm pretty sure you still technically make more than the XFL team due to the postseason bonuses still being there, if I'm not mistaken. So overall, yes, they lost some of the weekly incentives, but I believe they still have the postseason, which was a huge deal, made, the Stallions players make more money than everyone else, naturally. So overall, what I think about this is a huge deal, as it provides a huge boost for the USFL. Players currently debating on which league to go to will now see one league that has survived its first season versus another league which, granted, one of them was due to COVID, but has failed 2 separate times. Once in the early 2000s where they made it through one season and that was it, and once where they didn't even make it through a season. Versus the USFL, which this iteration has already went through a season and is proving to be a slow and steady model. Now, yes, in terms of the NFL feeder, you could argue that's a big deal, but as I mentioned before, it's not as big a deal as players who get undrafted and unsigned during the NFL draft can go to the USFL versus the XFL, which they can't go because it's already too late. So in terms of the player pool, it's really the guys who, kind of like how Ben DiNucci just went to the XFL, those kind of players now have to decide, do they want a league that has more financial stability because what you're going to get paid versus one where you have to hope you're in a good team to make more money? And in terms of the NFL, it's your call about that. Overall, I think this is a huge deal for this to come out. This is a huge boost to the USFL, as it already secures a union for the USFL players, which the XFL doesn't have as of right now. And overall, it shows that the security, if you're looking for security, the USFL is better by a mile. The XFL will have to somehow compete with this. But if the XFL does decide to compete with that, that could end up bankrupting the league, which is why I doubt they will. To put it simply, you don't want to invest too much if you don't know how it's going to work for sure. Since they are playing in every single stadium, having 3 in Texas does help them in the financial regard, but the USFL's slow and steady way to expand is a more stable and financial secure area. But naturally, this is all what we'll see. This was a huge deal. This came out. This has been Zomfox. If you enjoy this content, want me notified as soon as I upload any videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. And as always, have a great night.